Okay, we're going to work several problems right here in a row. First off, let's look at problem number 7. It's a transformation, 3 steps to the left, which when you think on the number line, the left is the negative, but these are what we call the horizontal liars. Meaning they're going to go in the parentheses, and they're liars. So, in other words, this will be y equals, and it will be x, not minus 4, but 3, no, sorry, 3, plus 3, all right? And now the vertical part, though, is just a shift 1 step up, which means a plus 1 on the outside. So that would be the answer to this one right here. It would be y equals the quantity x plus 3 squared plus 1. Now let's go look at problem number 17 real fast, because it's going to be the exact same type of problem with a vertical and horizontal shift. Only this time I think it's written out a little more wordy. So here we go. We have the answers right here. On 17 it says the following. Notice this is a minus 4 inside, and it's a horizontal liar. So that really means I'm moving 4 to the right. And the plus 7 still means I went up what? 7. So as I'm looking at this, 4 units left, no. 4 units right, good. But a vertical shift of 7 units down, no, it's a plus 7. Minus 7 would have made that one correct. 4 units to the right, okay, that's right. And a vertical shift upwards of 7 units. That would be correct right there, because I actually shifted right and going up 4. It is not a left shift of 7 units on that particular one right there. So the answer to that one, it was a shift right, opposite of what you think because of the minus 4. All right, we want to go back and look at problem number 14 real quick while we're dealing with transformations. So let me find 14 for you real fast. Shouldn't be very far from 17. There we go. There's 14 right there. Notice there are no equations written there, but basically what's going to happen is this: to get a vertical shrink, the normal graph of this particular one looks like that. So to be a vertical shrink, it's just not going to go up quite as fast. Well, the reason for that to happen will make this any fraction less than 1. So the answer will be f of x equals any fraction less than 1. We'll keep it positive. I'm just going to pick 1/2. Could be 1/3, could be 2/3, could be 3/4. Any fraction smaller than that right there. Now let's go back and look at problem number 18 real quick, because that's also the very same type of a problem. Hurry back to right where we were on 18. We're very close. 17. 16, there's 18 right there. Okay? Now, which of the following has the widest parabola? And here's a trick question for you. The widest parabola will be the one with the smallest a value in front. This one's 10. Now, the -5, we take away the negative, we just look at the positive part. It would be going down, but it would be going up quick. This one would be 1, because that's a 1 in front. We're going to ignore the negative. This one's 4/3. Now wait a minute. We see a fraction. Most of us are going to pick the fraction. But yet 4/3 is greater than 1. So the widest one would be this one right here. This one would be the widest. And then conversely, to find the narrowest, it would be the number that is the largest, which would be, that one would be the narrowest. So for this particular answer, the answer was H. All right. If the narrowest one would have been, the answer would have been 10. We also now want to look at how reflections look at these particular problems. So we want to look at problems number 22 and 23, or 22 and 25. 22 and 25. So let me slide us down to 22 real fast as we work on it. Okay, there's 22. About the reflections of a graph. All right. We want to reflect this one over the y-axis. The y-axis would be this particular axis right here, which would simply happen with this. To flip over this one, my x is inside FE negative. Technically they're inside parentheses, but because it's in a square root, that's a parentheses as its own. To flip it over y, this would be the answer. If I was to flip it over the x-axis would look like that right there, which would be this particular equation. The negative on the outside, because all your answers going from positive would become negative. Here on this one, all your answers flip across here. You can't get answers for negative x's in the original problem. Hence, you can't get them for positive because you're going to make them negative. So the only answers you get would be the negative times the negative on that particular one right there. And let's go ahead and look then at problem number 25, because it is the same type. And actually, I'm going to be able to stop it right there. Now you're going to have to look at all the choices which you have on your paper, because this is what I know about this graph. First off, having just talked about right there, this negative in front is going to flip this one what I call upside down. So it'll be the same graph, just flipped. And the 1/5 is going to make it, it's going to be a vertical shrink. It's going to make it, or stretch, it's going to make it a lot harder. So therefore, that's going to make it a lot wider, which is the answer A if you look at all these graphs. B is just the same graph going up and down, wider. And C would be those, and D, a narrower or the same type. So that 1/5 is going to make them wider, the negative is going to flip it upside down. Transformations. Remember, inside liar is about parentheses, and outside plus or minus is exactly what it is, a vertical shift up and down. Negatives reflect things either across the x or the y, and then the vertical stretching and shrinking, dealing with the problems.